Have you ever loved someone so much that you ignored every red flag? Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and thought, I know everything about you? I thought I did. My name is Daniel Walker. I'm 34 years old, and I'm going to tell you a story that will make you question every relationship you've ever had. This isn't just a story about cheating. This isn't just a story about betrayal. This is a story about identity, about how the person sleeping next to you every night might not be who you think they are. It started in 2018, the best year of my life. It ended in 2020, the year I lost everything, including my mind. Sit back, get comfortable. This is going to take a while, because some stories, they need time to unfold. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be glad you stayed. I was working at a marketing firm in downtown Chicago. Nothing special, just another guy in his late 20s trying to make rent. October 12th, 2018. I remember the date because it was my mother's birthday. I had just gotten off a terrible call with her. She was asking when I'd get married, when she'd have grandchildren, the usual guilt trip. I needed coffee. Badly. There's this small coffee shop on Michigan Avenue, the Brew House, not a chain, just a tiny place run by an old Greek man named Dimitri. I walked in, and that's when I saw her. She was standing at the counter, ordering. Her voice was soft, gentle, like she didn't want to disturb the universe. Latte, please. Extra foam, vanilla syrup, almond milk. I remember thinking, who orders coffee with that many specifications? Then she turned around, and I forgot how to breathe. She had long brown hair, green eyes, not bright green, deep green, like a forest at dusk. And she was wearing this red dress, simple, elegant. She smiled at me, just a small smile, the kind you give a stranger when you accidentally make eye contact. I smiled back. Then she walked out, and I thought, well, that's it. You'll never see her again. But Dimitri, the old man behind the counter, he saw everything. He pointed at me and said, "You like that girl, yes?" I laughed. "She's beautiful." He said, "She comes here every Tuesday, same time, same order. You come next Tuesday, same time. You talk to her." I thought he was crazy. But you know what? Tuesday came, and I found myself walking to that coffee shop at exactly 3:47 p.m. She was there. Same red dress, same smile, same order. I walked up to her. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she could hear it. I said, "Latte, extra foam, vanilla syrup, almond milk?" She looked at me, confused at first, then recognized me, laughed. She said, "You've been stalking my coffee order?" I said, "Dimitri told me. He's my wingman." We talked for 2 hours in that tiny coffee shop, about everything, about nothing. Her name was Alice Black. She was 32, worked as a graphic designer, loved old movies, hated mushrooms, had a cat named Fitzgerald. She was perfect. No, that's not right. She seemed perfect. There's a difference. After that day, we were inseparable. I'd pick her up after work, we'd go to dinner, walk along the lake, talk until 3 a.m. on park benches. 3 months later, I proposed. I know what you're thinking. 3 months? That's too fast. Red flag. But when you know, right? That's what I told myself. She said yes. Of course she said yes. She cried, I cried, the waiter at the restaurant cried. It was perfect. But looking back now, there were things, small things I ignored. Like how she never talked about her past. I'd ask, "Tell me about your childhood." She'd say, "Boring, normal, nothing interesting." I'd ask, "Where did you grow up?" She'd say, "Here and there, military family, we moved a lot." I'd ask, "Show me photos of you as a kid." She'd laugh. "My parents lost all those in a fire. Can you believe it? A fire. Everything lost in a fire. Convenient, right? But I didn't question it. Why would I? I was in love. We got married June 15th, 2019. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Her mother was there, Patricia Black, elegant woman, silver hair, cold eyes. Her father? Couldn't make it. Work emergency, Alice said. Her brother? She didn't have one, only child. Her friends? A few people showed up, but they were distant, like they didn't really know her either. At the reception, I asked her mother, "Tell me about Alice as a little girl." Patricia looked at me, long pause. Then she said, "Alice was always Alice." That was it. That was all she said. I should have noticed. I should have asked more questions, but I didn't, because Alice was perfect, and perfect people don't have secrets, right?
After the honeymoon, we started looking for a house. Alice found one in Minnesota, small town called Stillwater, about 30 minutes from Minneapolis. The house was old, built in 1920, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a big backyard, and a basement. When we first walked through it, I loved everything. The hardwood floors, the tall ceilings, the fireplace. But Alice, she was focused on one thing, the basement. She kept going down there, walking around, measuring, planning. I asked her, "What are you so excited about?" She said, "Storage space. We have so much stuff." It made sense. We did have a lot of stuff. But then she showed me something. A door at the far end of the basement, made of solid wood, heavy, old. She said, "This room, I want this room for myself, just for my things, my private space. You won't go in there, okay?" I laughed. "You want your own secret room, like a teenager?" She didn't laugh. She looked at me, serious, intense. She said, "I'm serious, Daniel. This is my space. You never go in there. Promise me." I was confused, but I said, "Okay, I promise." She smiled, kissed me. "Thank you. I love you." We bought the house. She put a lock on that door, a heavy padlock, and for months I kept my promise. I never went near that room. I never asked what was inside. I was a good husband, a trusting husband, a stupid husband. March 2020, COVID hits, lockdown begins. At first, it was great. We were together 24/7, cooking together, watching movies, playing board games, making love. But after a few weeks, things changed. Alice started acting different. She would wake up in the middle of the night, every night, around 2:47 a.m. I know the time because I started watching. I'd pretend to be asleep, but I'd watch her through half-closed eyes. She'd sit up, look around the room, then get out of bed, barefoot, silent, like a ghost. She'd walk out of the bedroom, down the stairs, to the basement, and she'd stay there for hours. One night, I followed her. I crept down the stairs, careful not to make a sound. I reached the basement. It was dark, only a small light coming from the locked room. The door was open. I saw Alice inside. She was sitting on the floor, surrounded by something. I couldn't see what. And she was talking, whispering. I couldn't hear the words, but she was having a conversation with someone or something. I stood there for maybe 5 minutes, frozen, confused. Then she stopped talking, turned her head, looked directly at where I was hiding in the darkness. She said, "Daniel?" I didn't answer. I held my breath. She stood up, walked toward the door. I moved back, silent, fast. I made it back to bed, pretended to be asleep. A few minutes later, she came back, got into bed, curled up next to me, and whispered, "I know you were there." I didn't move, didn't respond. She kissed my cheek. "Go back to sleep, my love. Everything is fine." But everything was not fine. Everything was very, very wrong. The next morning, I pretended nothing happened. We had breakfast together. She made pancakes, smiled, kissed me goodbye when I went to my home office for work.
Normal. Perfect. But I couldn't stop thinking about that night. That night when she was in the locked room, whispering to someone. I needed answers. So I started watching her more closely. Her phone. She was always on her phone, but whenever I came near, she'd put it down. Her laptop. Password protected. She never left it open. Her emails. She had a separate account. I didn't know the address. One day, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she took a shower. I picked it up. I know, invasion of privacy, wrong, bad husband, but I had to know. I scrolled through her recent calls. Mostly normal. Mom, a few friends, work. But then I saw one number, saved as M. Just the letter M. And there were calls. Many calls. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Long calls. 30 minutes, an hour. I memorized the number, put the phone back. When Alice came out of the shower, I was sitting on the couch, reading, innocent. That night, when she was asleep, I called the number. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Then a voice answered. A robotic voice, distorted, like a voice changer. State your name and purpose. I froze, didn't speak. The voice said again, state your name and purpose. You have 5 seconds. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Who was M? Why was Alice talking to them so much? Why the robotic voice? The next morning, I asked her casually, "Who's M?" She looked at me, blank face, then smiled. "M? What do you mean?" "In your phone, there's a contact saved as M. Who is it?" She laughed, easy, natural. "Oh, that's my therapist, Dr. Miller. I've been seeing her for years, for anxiety. I never told you because, I don't know, embarrassed, I guess." Therapist. Made sense. People see therapists all the time. But why the robotic voice when I called? I asked, why does her voicemail sound like a robot? Alice shrugged. She uses a service for privacy. A lot of therapists do. Maybe it was true. Maybe I was being paranoid. But something felt wrong. And my gut was screaming at me.
A few weeks later, I found it. I was looking for a stapler in her home office. She was out grocery shopping. I opened a drawer. Stapler wasn't there, but a notebook was. Old, worn, leather cover. I opened it. The first page said, "Property of Alice Black. If found, please return. Or don't, I'll be dead anyway." My blood ran cold. I started reading. The first entry was dated 2005. Alice would have been 19. I was shaken. My wife, my perfect wife, was abused as a child. Terribly abused. I wanted to cry for her, hold her, tell her it was okay. But then I read the last entry, dated 2007. "The project is complete. Alice Black is dead. Long live someone else." Someone else? What did that mean? I closed the diary, put it back exactly where I found it. I didn't know what to think. My wife was abused. That explained so much. Her distance, her secrets, her need for a locked room. But that last line, "Alice Black is dead. Long live someone else." Maybe it was metaphorical. Maybe she meant her old self died. But something in my gut said, no, there's more. I needed to know about Dr. White, the therapist from California who helped her. So I did research. Dr. Margaret White, psychologist, licensed in California, practiced from 1990 to 2007, the same year the diary ended. I searched further, found an old news article. Prominent psychologist found dead in apparent suicide. I clicked. Identity modification therapy. What the hell was that? I needed to go to California, needed to find out more. I told Alice I had a business trip, New York, 1 week. She believed me, or pretended to. I flew to California, to Santa Cruz, to find the truth about Dr. Margaret White and about my wife.